This is Dr. B. Krishnachandra Kirti, Assistant Professor of English, Dr. BRR Government College, Jadcherla. A critical analysis and appreciation of the poem Punishment in Kindergarten by Kamala Das. Just like William Blake's Songs of Innocence and Experience, Das contrasts her childhood innocence and adult experience here quite effectively. Through the description of a simple event, she successfully brings out the insensitivity of teachers on one hand and the indifference of her fellow children, the comforting qualities of nature, all in beautiful and artistic language. The poetess asserts herself quite confidently in the very opening line, saying that she is now capable of controlling her conditions and the situation and accepting them. She has overcome her childhood inhibitions and hesitation. So the poem reminds us of the one of the romantic poet William Blake's poem Songs of Innocence and Experience. So Kamala Das contrasts her childhood innocence and adult experience, past and present, here in this poem quite effectively. She takes up a simple event, the description of a simple event that of a picnic, what happened during her picnic, once she went to a picnic, and what happened during the picnic, she takes up, she describes, and through the description of this simple event, she successfully contrasts and juxtaposes the insensitivity of teachers. So the teachers sometimes are insensitive and insensible towards the students, and the indifference also of fellow children or classmates. And in addition, she also throws a light on the comforting qualities of nature. When our near and dear corner us, throw us aside, it is nature that takes us to her lap, consoles her, and offers some solace. The comforting qualities of nature, all in beautiful and artistic language. Now, the poem asserts in the very opening lines of the poem that she has control or command over her present situation or conditions, and she accepts them. She has overcome her childhood shyness, inhibitions, reservations, and hesitation. With the new perspective, changed attitude towards life and people, her growth, maturity, and wisdom, she begins to feel that the world is little more of her own today than when she was a child. So, from childhood to adulthood, everyone's perspective, point of view, outlook, or lookout changes. Same is the case with the poetess also. With the new perspective, changed attitude towards life and people, her growth, maturity, and wisdom, she begins to feel that the world is little more of her own since she has taken control or command over the situation and her conditions. She has started asserting, she has gained confidence, and with the assumed confidence, she begins to say that, assert that the world is a little more of her own today than when she was a child. When she was a child, she felt that she was an alien, she was isolated, a foreigner in her own school, in her own, amidst her own classmates, her own teachers. A note on the language aspects. Kamala Das is an artist with a commendable command of English and compound words. Let us have a look at the compound words used in the poem. Das makes use of different kinds of compound words such as closed compounds, hyphenated compounds, and open compounds. In the compound words, there are mainly three categories: closed compounds, hyphenated compounds and open compounds. That is compound words. Compounds means compound words are words which are a combination of two or more words used as a single unit of meaning. So, if we take the meaning of the word compound words are words which are a combination of two or more words used as a single unit of meaning. First of all, let us take up closed compound words written as a single word without any gap or pause or without any markings in between. Flower pot, flower vase. Hyphenated compound words written as two words with a hyphen in between. Well respected, bedridden, ill treated. Open compound words written as two separate words: high school, classroom, bedroom, likewise. Compound words may be used as nouns, adjectives, or verbs. Compound words in the poem. Let us look at the list of compound words used by the poetess in the poem. Blue frocked woman, honey colored day of peace, honey colored, sun warmed hedge, steel white sun. Das didn't explain in the poem why she couldn't join her fellow children. She focused on the teacher scolding her. So, one side of the coin is unrevealed, hidden, it is concealed. The poetess didn't explain in the poem why she couldn't join her fellow children. Maybe she might have been an introvert, reserved, shy. She focused on the teacher scolding her. Normally, children love company of others, but the poetess' failure could be attributed to her behavior. Generally, children are gregarious in nature. They mingle well, they mix up well with others. They love to have the company of others. But here, the poetess' failure, failure of the poet, failure on the part of the poet, could be attributed to her behavior, difference in her behavior, maybe introversion. The reason behind her inability to join her fellow children might be her nature being an introvert. Das expresses the view that children laugh at others' tears, but it generally doesn't happen and not acceptable. Generally, children never laugh at others. They try to help others. They move in groups, they move as a single unit. But here, Das classmates, her fellow children, laugh at her when the teacher scolded her. Children are innocent and they don't have any feelings of ill will or malicious intent for others. So, children are innocent generally. They have good intentions. They always think of well being of others, not ill being of others, ill will. They don't have feelings of ill will or malicious intent for others. As Leo Tolstoy put it in his short story, little girls are wiser than men. Children, unlike elders, forget all their differences and mingle with purity of heart. So, Leo Tolstoy, in his short story, Little Girls Are Wiser Than Men, brings out the moral from his story that to have a place in God's kingdom, one must be pure in heart. So, children, unlike elders have malicious intent and ill will, feelings of ill will. But children forget, even if they have differences, they forget all their differences and mingle with purity of heart. Figurative use of language. A blue frocked woman caused throwing words at me like pots and pans to drain. So, some lines of the poem. Here, the poetess compares words to pots and pans. Throwing is the common feature between words and pots and pans. So, pots and pans are compared to words, and throwing is the common feature between words and pots and pans. Sometimes it so happens that even though things won't change, it's our perception of things and our attitude towards them makes all the difference. So, sometimes things change, situations change, conditions change with time. Sometimes things won't change, but our perception, our attitude, our reception, our treatment towards things change, and it makes all the difference. The words which hurted the poetess once are muffled now. The faces of children who laughed at her then are only a blur. Indirectly, the poetess suggests that everything changes with time, as time is a great leveler and time heals all wounds, and also that experience is a good teacher who can teach us how to put up with pain. So, if we take up some expressions in the poem, the words which hurted the poetess, like pots and pans, are muffled now. They are changed. The faces of children who laughed at her, who mocked her, are only a blur, a distinct images, a vague images, unclear images, faint images. Indirectly, the poet suggests that everything changes with time. So, time is a great changer. Time is a great leveler. And for time, all are equal. Time heals all wounds. And also that experience is a good teacher who can teach us to put up with pain. We forget pain as days pass by. We gain experience and we forget pain. Sorrowful experiences, tragic experiences, sad events. Thus adopts a philosophical tone when she makes a mention of, in the concluding lines of the poem, the years have sped along, stopping briefly at beloved halts and moving sadly on. So, everyone at one point of time or other adopts a philosophical tone, a resignated tone. So, time stops at joys, joyous occasions, pleasant moments, and moves sadly on, recalling such joyous experiences. Time moves on. As the proverbial saying goes, time and tide wait for none. Time never stops for any and moves on uniformly, but our perception provides us illusory experience. So, time and tide wait for none. Whether we have joyous experiences or sorrowful experiences, time will never stop for anyone. It goes on, it moves on uniformly for the rich and the poor, for the good and the bad. It has no difference. Our perception changes towards the experiences, whether joyful or sorrowful. So, our perception provides us illusory experience. During happy occasions, we feel that time passes, flies, shoots up swiftly, and when we are sad, we feel that time comes to a halt. So, time never stops. Time and tide wait for none. But our perception changes. An example of this is when we feel happy or when we consider happy occasions or joyous occasions, we feel that time passes, flies, shoots up, hurries swiftly, rapidly. And when we are sad, we feel that time comes to a halt. So time stops, time moves on heavily. But in reality, time has no such discrimination. and it's our perception only that misleads us. So, time doesn't have any discrimination for anyone. It is our perception which misleads us and which provides us illusory experience. My mind has found an adult peace. Our childhood innocence, fancy, ignorance drive us sense everything impulsively and emotionally, but when we grow older and wiser, we learn to accept pleasures and pains equally. Thus, the poetess gets adult peace. When we are during the phase of childhood, we have innocence, fancy, ignorance. All these feelings drive us impulsive, emotional, and hasty. But as we grow older and wiser, we learn to accept pleasure and pain equally. We get peace. We will no more be ignorant, impulsive, and emotional. We don't have any feelings of fancy and innocence, illusion. We will be free from all such illusions, illusory experiences. Watching the steel white sun standing lonely in the sky. Here Das aligns herself with the sun. The sun is lonely in the sky, and likewise Das was also alone during the picnic. So the sun is alone in the sky. The sun shines brightly alone in the sky. Steel white sun. That means shining like steel brightly, lonely in the sky. And Das was also alone, despite of her classmates and teachers. Loneliness happens to be the common feature between the two. The poetess comparison reminds us of the poem I Will Embrace Only the Sun by Tripuraneni Srinivas. So there also the poet aligns himself with sun. He aims at the sun only. His target is only the sun, the unique figure who is individualistic, who is original, who has originality, who never imitates, who happens to be like his own. Kamala Das plays two roles in her poem. The first one is that of the kindergarten girl ill treated by her teacher as well as her fellow students. The second part is that of the grown up woman who responds to the punishment meted out to her from a new perspective and different dimension. Both the roles display strikingly different qualities. So, in this poem, Kamala Das plays two roles. The first one is that of the kindergarten girl, ill treated by her teacher as well as her fellow students. Ill treatment is the common part. She was ill treated from two corners, from two sections of people. The second part is that of the grown up woman, adult one, childhood Das and adult Das, who responds to the punishment meted out to her from a new perspective and different dimension, from a different thought, from a different outlook. Both the roles display strikingly different qualities. The young girl is known for childhood innocence. She is tender and sensitive. She suffered pain. As a grown up woman, the poet has found an adult peace. Time has taught her how to tackle even troubles in her stride. So, childhood Das is innocent, shy, reserved, tender, and as a result, she suffered pain. As a grown up woman, adult Das, she has found adult peace. All those things, all her own feelings appear to her to be silly, childish, immature. Time has taught her how to tackle even troubles in her stride. She is now mature. She has seen life's ups and downs. She now knows that life is a blend of pleasures and pains. So, life, pleasures and pains all are a part of life.